my 20s were ghetto, and I'm ready to like enter into a new era. What's up guys, I'm Kasey Freeman and welcome back to my YouTube channel. And I'm now 30, Flirty and Thriving, so I'm a part of the 30 club. So I'm super excited because a lot of people don't make it to 30 and a lot of people don't get to say, oh, I'm getting older, or oh, like I have all these newfound wisdom because I've already gone through all this stuff, and I look forward to continuing to live and walk on this earth, and that means that God is not through with me yet. And so I just wake up every morning so grateful, and so many things that I've learned over the last decade. I mean, let's just be honest, like your 20s, and I feel like Keke Palmer said it best, like they were just like rough, you know what I'm saying? Like you're still trying to figure it out, like you're trying to enjoy drinking when you shouldn't, like you shouldn't enjoy drinking. There's nothing good about alcohol, right? There really just isn't. Even though like I love a good glass of wine, I love a little Crown, let's just be honest. But it's like you rush to get older to experience these things, and for what? Like what are you gaining from that? What are you learning from that? And I think even like the whole institutionalization of like university and going to college and like having to know exactly what you want to do for the next 30 to 40 years at your 20s is wild. Like I love journalism, and that's what I decided to get my major in. And I really do think that God allowed me to see that because I came from a high school where it was all about STEM and math, science, engineering, like for those who don't know, and technology. And so like I really didn't have much exposure to like journalism and like what that really meant. So going to Troy was probably the best decision of my 20s, or I guess I was 18 at the time, but of my adolescence was going to Troy. And really moving away from home and really just learning how to be self-sufficient was like the best lesson from my 20s, because not only did I go to Troy, but I also moved a lot to different states and different cities that I didn't know anybody when I moved there. And so it really causes you to learn how to adapt quickly. And I think that that's one thing that I really learned how to do in my 20s is learn to adapt. But I think with that adaptation of like where you are in your environment, it can be very easy not to set boundaries because you're just trying to figure it out. But when I hit 27, it was something about 27 that I was locked in, okay? I felt like at 27, I started actually like doing the work, like learning what I liked, learning what I did not like, learning about business in a way that I never like considered learning about business before, learning about money in the other ways that I'd never learned about money before, and really just trying things, trying big, bold things. And I think for 30, like I'm really excited with the lessons that I've learned in my 20s when it came to entrepreneurship, when it comes to friendship, when it comes to business. And I know that like I say entrepreneurship and business separate because entrepreneurship to me is what I am and how like I build a business. But entrepreneurship and learning like development of your habits to be a successful leader and really like pouring into yourself as a business owner is different from business entities and learning how business entities work, and how money flows in the United States and around the globe. And so, yeah, that's a whole nother thing. Anywho, where was I going with that? So yeah, I learned a lot in my 20s that I really like look forward to implementing in my 30s. And I think that that's why your 30s are so beautiful. And you know, and that's why I think like in the movie 30, Flirty and Thriving, or not, 13 going on 30, when she says like I'm 30, flirty and thriving, and I want to be 30, flirty and thriving. And I think that that's because like you learn so much stuff about even relationships and dating in your 20s that you can really just like implement in your 30s. And And so I feel very excited for this next like stage of my life, because like I'm grown. You know what I'm saying? Like at 20, we were all out here saying I'm grown because I was 21 or I was 25 and I'm grown. No, now I am grown. Like, you cannot tell me what to do, how to think. I have my own mind. I have my own thoughts on this world, and I have developed spiritually in a way that is just different than in your 20s. And so it's just, I do think, and I keep saying like implementation, but I feel like my 20s, I don't want to say we're a failure but I failed a lot in my 20s. And I think that that's beautiful for growth. And you don't know what success is unless you fail. And for a lot of people, the only thing that you see are their successes. And I will be the first to let you know that I have failed a lot, and I have hurt a lot, and I have been hurt a lot by people and by things and by decisions that were outside of my control, and not getting certain jobs or certain clients or certain whatever. Like there have been a lot of disappointments in my 20s, and I think that all of that allows you to fail forward in your 30s, because it's just like, you know what, you really have an arching concept of what it means to be a good person or a bad person. I can't speak for everybody, but I feel like I'm a good person. And you really do get a sense of how to treat people and how to give in moments, even that seems so small, to like pour into other people, because you know what it feels like to have been there. You know what I'm saying? And you can take time to speak life into other people. And yeah, hopefully that rant doesn't make sense. Hopefully that rant makes sense. So yeah, I think that failure is a thing, and ways that I am doing that is like during this last month, which is like, I'm glad that my birthday's in December. I love like my birthday in the winter, because like my birthday's at the beginning of December, and then you have this whole year, and like it's almost like everything kind of like starts to shut down because of Christmas. And so it's just like you don't really have as many like things going on, so it can really renew your mind. So I have my birthday, and then I can like sit in stillness during the month of December, and then January is like goal time, you know? And so I really like appreciate this time of the year in more ways than I could ever imagine, because like it's a great time to reflect. And a lot other than like knowing that I failed at something, I know that I know that there are things that I failed at that I no longer want to do. And I am okay with the fact that they failed. And there are other things where I'm like, okay, this did not work, so let's go back to the drawing board, right? And I think that failing like a pro means revisiting where you failed and having a business meeting with yourself about those failures, so that you don't fail again, or so that you don't make a misstep again. And I think that failing like a pro also means asking for help and asking for advice, and really talking to like a coach or a mentor or anything like that. I don't really talk to my friends about like business. I don't really talk to my friends about business. That's just that. So I think it is important, especially if you are an entrepreneur or if you are doing something that, like I'm a content creator and I love social media, and my friends are not necessarily like content creators. And so it's just like understanding where people are is something that happens later in your 20s, because I think in your early 20s, we're all on the same. We're all just trying to figure this out. We all have the same interests. And I think later is when you start to realize, like, okay, we're at different stages of life. Like, I'm a godmom, which means my best friend is a mother, and I'm not. You know what I'm saying? So we're at two different spaces of life, but I think that her stage of life is beautiful. And I hope that she thinks that my stage of life is beautiful. And I want to continue to share and nurture that relationship, even though, like, I don't have my own child. I have a cat, and I love her as if she were my child, but I don't have, like, a baby. You know what I'm saying? So I can't always relate to what she's saying and what's going on, but I know that I love her, and I know that I want to be there for her. Yeah, and I think like later in your 20s, you just have this self-awareness from like your stage of life and the failures that have come your way, till it's very easy for you to navigate the space that you're in. And I think failure is important. I think figuring out and experimenting is important. My 20s were just a huge experiment. Dating life was an experiment. Careers was an experiment. Entrepreneurship is an experiment. My spirituality, I was like, I won't say I was experimenting with my spirituality, because I've always loved God, and I love God, and I'm rocking with him 10 toes down, and that's that. So I wasn't experimenting in my like spirituality, so I can't relate to that. But I'm sure if whoever needs to do that can do that, you know. So I look forward to 30, and I look forward to bringing you more content, better content, because that's all this means to me, is just growing bigger, better, and bolder. And that's not my waistline being bigger, better, bolder. That's my mind, my heart, and my businesses. Okay, see you in the next video. Bye, guys.